How Food Affects the Baseball Experience, presented by Brent Alford, Camille Carter, Colin Dominy, Zach Ledbetter, and Gage Patton. In this project, we researched the history behind many ballpark staples such as sunflower seeds, hot dogs, beer, and Gatorade. Next, we discussed how these foods trigger physiological reactions that spark our desires for those greasy ballpark foods. Then we discussed how this food is sold in two areas, stationary concessions and walking vendors. Lastly, we discussed how food affects the athletes at these sporting events. Foods and drinks such as bananas, pickle juice, and Gatorade help prevent cramps in athletes.
Food and baseball. Sunflower seeds. Why do baseball players choose sunflower seeds? What makes them popular? And how do they affect the experience of a baseball game? Seeds versus tobacco. Chewing tobacco has been popular on the baseball field since the late 1800s. As healthcare improved throughout the 20th century, awareness of tobacco's harmful effects were discovered. Iconic baseball figures like Tony Gwynn and Curt Schilling made known the health risks of tobacco. Tony Gwynn is shown on the left and Curt Schilling, pitcher for the Red Sox, is shown on the right. Both were affected greatly by tobacco use. Tony Gwynn died from salivary cancer, which was related to his consistent tobacco use. And Curt Schilling, also a tobacco user, had mouth cancer that was attributed to his habit of tobacco use. And on the right, you can see Curt Schilling, a picture of him in a post-radiation state. He had just finished radiation treatment and looks a lot older than he did just a short time before. These health concerns have caused sunflower seeds to be a healthier alternative to chewing tobacco, making it lots more popular. Both fans and players can enjoy eating these salty seeds and spitting the holes at the ballpark. Some history of sunflower seed use. Jackie Robinson was one of the first baseball players to popularize the use of sunflower seeds.
David's sunflower seeds are known for their slogan, "Eat, spit, be happy." This sums up how chewing sunflower seeds is meant to affect a sports event such as baseball. Enjoy them as a part of the baseball culture and feel like you belong at the park by spitting some seeds. Hot dogs and beer. Hot dogs were introduced to America by German immigrants arriving in the New England area. Beer has been served since the first baseball game was played. In Brooklyn, the first enclosed baseball park actually had a saloon in the corner of the outfield. Now we'll discuss one of the most popular sports drinks in the world, Gatorade. In 1965, at the University of Florida, an assistant football coach noticed his football players' endurance waning quickly during hot summer practice. The solution to this problem was a team of physicians at University of Florida developed a solution in the lab that was high in carbohydrates and electrolytes. This drink was designed to help University of Florida football players maintain strength in the summer heat. The drink helped the Gators be more successful on the field due to better endurance and performance. The drink was then given the name Gatorade.
Food plays a vital role in the experience of most all sports events. Hot dogs, beer, sunflower seeds, and Gatorade all impact those participating in the sports and those attending as spectators. Food provides an element of the sport that is often taken for granted by those in attendance.
Now we will discuss the sensory experience that spectators and actual players have when they attend a sporting event. Oh, the smells of the ballpark. All that greasy food tends to smell amazingly good. Hot dogs with chili, pizza, chicken fingers, brats with onions and peppers, cotton candy, soft drinks and beer will make any spectator's mouth water. Many of the sights in a ballpark of food and drink can trigger a physiological response that can make a spectator hungry. The cells in the hypothalamus communicate with cells in other parts of the brain to coordinate the release and uptake of chemicals that help regulate how much and what you eat. The sight and smell of food triggers the brain to turn the desire to eat into the act of eating. How a food smells, what it looks like, and how you remember it tasting excites chemicals within your brain. So whenever you see the fan next to you with a huge chili cheese dog and you smell his beer, your hypothalamus tells you that you want one too. This is how sights and smells affect our experience of a sports event.
Selling stadium food. Many people complain about the excessive ticket prices at sporting events, but a surprising 2/3 of a stadium's revenue comes from concessions. Walking vendors and concession stands are common sights at any sporting event, especially baseball games. There are two main components of sale at an event: stationary concessions and walking vendors. Stadium vendors. One of the must-have components of a sporting event stadium is stationary vendors surrounding the different entrances. The sights and smells that fill the air when walking the circumference of the stadium are vital to the overall experience. Walking vendors. After taking your seat to watch the game, food is still adding to the experience with walking vendors. Here are some average concession prices. Beer averages at $5.98, hot dogs average at $4.07, while soft drinks average at $4.39. Soft drinks actually have the highest profit margin of all of these concessions. Walking vendors walk an average of 4.5 miles up and down stadium steps during one sporting event, and they also carry an average load of 40 pounds. In the next section, we will discuss how the athletes are affected by food, specifically in the area of cramp prevention.
For this section of the research, we sat down and asked our athletic trainer, Eddie, for a professional opinion on what would help the prevention of cramps in regards to food and drinks. Eddie told us that cramps are caused by the loss of sodium and potassium through sweat during a competition. Eddie said, foods that contain a high source of potassium and sodium are ideal for preventing cramps. When asked what foods he would suggest on athlete to eat for cramps, he said, the best food for cramps would be bananas and pickles because these two are high in potassium. What foods prevent cramps? Foods with high levels of potassium, sodium, and magnesium allow athletes to perform at their highest level without possibly catching a cramp. The most used foods and drinks are Gatorade, pickle juice, and bananas, which lead to us researching why these foods and drinks are so important in muscle cramp prevention.
The first food that we researched was pickle juice. Pickle juice has proven to be a great drink choice pre or post workout. The National Institutes of Health found that ingesting high sodium drinks pre-exercise improve thermoregulation and performance. Rich in sodium, magnesium, and potassium, pickle juice is seen by trainers, nutritionists, and researchers as a drink with enough, if not more, electrolytes than many of the popular aid-type drinks currently on the market. Pickle juice provides athletes a 2-for-1 punch with sodium and vinegar in just one shot. The vinegar in the pickle juice is found to relax the muscle and relieve the muscle cramp, which has found to relieve cramps 49 seconds faster than natural recovery. Secondly, we researched Gatorade. Gatorade created to help with dehydration by combining electrolytes, carbohydrates, and water. Carbohydrates are the body's main source of energy. Dehydration is when the body loses more fluids than it takes in, which leads to muscle weakness, headaches, dizziness, low blood pressure, rapid heart rate. Gatorade is rich in sodium, which is responsible for maintaining the balance of water in the body cells. In a 8-ounce bottle of Gatorade contains a full 95 milligram of sodium, enough to replace what is lost through sweat. Lastly, we researched bananas. Bananas have a large amount of potassium, manganese, and carbohydrates. Potassium plays an important role in muscle function and prevents muscle cramping. During exercise, your body loses potassium levels through sweat and prolonged periods of physical activity. Eating a banana boosts your potassium intake by 10% of your daily value. Manganese is important because it helps bone development and wound healing. Consuming enough manganese also plays a key role in one's metabolism, which helps one's body receive those nutrients from the foods in their diet. Carbohydrates are key to fueling an athlete that is active in physical activity.
In conclusion, food has a remarkable impact on the game of baseball, stretching from its creation and continuing on to the modern-day sporting events. The sights and smells at a baseball game add to the overall atmosphere as they trigger our brains to head towards either the stationary concessions surrounding the stadium or to catch the eye of a walking vendor. Athletes are also affected by food at their games. Athletes use differing foods and drinks such as pickles, bananas, and Gatorade to prevent cramps. Food is a vital component to this country's favorite pastime, baseball.